Welcome back to your I Never Worry podcast with DB and John, where we discuss emotional intelligence with everyday people dealing with everyday situations. First of all, we just wanted to say thank you for all of the great feedback that we have gotten from all of you out there who has taken the time to listen and give us feedback. It's so positive and encouraging to hear that you guys are enjoying it. We're going to keep working on it, keep trying to make it better. It's just going to get better. Today, we're going to continue the conversation with the Piper and Latashia Holmes, and we're talking with them about not taking things personal, using that emotional intelligence skill set of not taking things personal, even when it feels like they are. It's going to be a great conversation. Part 2. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy.
What's going on? This is Jinho, the Piper Ferreira. You can check me out on the I Never Worry podcast right now.
Yeah, which slides us into our skill of the day, right? So we, here on the I Never Worry podcast, where we talking to everyday people about everyday situations, about the skill set of emotional intelligence. We like to share a skill set of the day whenever we get together in this cipher, in this communication. And so today's skill set is don't take anything personally, even when it feels personal. Right? Never take anything personally, even when it feels personal. And so, Tosh, tell me about that. When you hear that, like, how does that, what do you think about that as a skill?
You need to master it because it is extremely hard to not take anything personal. I just recently dealt with that. So the people you grow up with, your friends, your family, you think everybody supports you when you're doing, oh, I wrote a book. You think everybody's going to support you. Negative. No, seriously. Like, I had people, my book has been out since the end of July, and we're in January. And people are like, well, what's your book about? Well, how do I get it? These are people I grew up with.
Right.
Like, seriously? Like, I don't even need your $20 at this point.
Right.
Like,
so tell me how that make you so you feel. So are you taking that personal?
I did at first.
Okay.
But now I don't. Because what I learned is everybody is not for you. Everybody is not your people. Everybody is not your audience. You have to maintain your own sense of self-respect and dignity no matter what anyone says or does.
Right.
And if someone doesn't want to support you, that's for their own reasons. I don't even need to know why they don't. I pray that they get over whatever it is. And I'm still praying for that person. But my main focus is me and my happiness. And if I'm not happy within, I can't be happy and I can't please anyone else. So with that being said is no, I don't really take too many things personal anymore. I look at you, I know, and I move on.
Are you able to identify the difference when you feel like when you take something personal, because there's a certain emotionally charged,
absolutely.
And then when you decide that you're not, can you articulate like the difference, even in that situation?
Well, in that situation, it's a certain person that I would think that would support me. I watched her grow up as a kid. She's doing her thing. She be hosting little events. Never gave me an invitation or
Say
anything.
her name. Say her name.
Nah, don't say her name.
She know who she is. No, but yeah. So it kind of made me feel very uncomfortable for a long time, and then I had to realize that's not your situation, Tasha.
Right.
That's her shit she got, excuse my
Right.
language,
It's okay.
that she needs to deal with.
Right.
It's not you.
Right.
And then as my journey has begun, as I'm starting to evolve, I know now that everyone is not a part of your process either. You're
Right.
going to lose some folks.
Yeah.
And I never knew when people say level up what that actually meant until now.
Yeah.
Like, it is certain levels in life, and everybody don't attain that. Some people do, some don't, but there are certain levels, and certain levels you get to, certain people can't come.
Yeah, absolutely. And, on the other side, like the people who don't support us the way we think so is because in some weird way in their head, they're taking it personal. right?
Right.
People start telling they start this narrative in their head about maybe they reach out to you and they feel like you used to call me back real quick, and now that you got your little book out, you already know. You know when they hate when they throw that little in there. I see you with your little play over there, Piper. I seen a little play, right?
Yeah.
And I think that when we're talking about this emotional intelligence platform, this skill set right here is one of the most powerful ones that I use every single day, because in every single way, it's so easy to take things personally, to make it in your head like somehow it's about you. But the reality of it is, everything that's happening to us most of the time has nothing to do with us.
Absolutely.
At all. And me and Pike probably learned that in juvenile hall the most, when we could just walk in the unit, youngsters start cussing us out or kicking on the door for no reason. And, if you take it personal, you be all up in there putting them on their back, right? Or you look at like, man, you cannot possibly be mad at me. It got to be, another situation.
Right.
But it takes a while to get to that space, and this is why we consider it a skill set, right? So, you go outside and there's a ticket on your car. I seen a lady the other day, had a ticket on her car, and she went, and on her way to her car, from the time she seen the ticket, she's about 50 feet away, she started cussing at the ticket, the car, the city, and everything, right? As if, the city person waited and plotted on her or something. Never once thought about, maybe I just over my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I watched her.
I didn't read the sign.
I didn't read the sign. And I watched her take that energy into the car, snatch the ticket off the windshield, and smash off. Because all I could say to her head, she must have told herself, this is very personal. The city, she went on something. They always, ain't got nothing better else to do. Well, it's their job, and you're out of pocket, and just pay the ticket, right? But it's hard for us to come to that. But I appreciate you sharing that. Pi, what about you when you think about taking things personally, man?
It's hard, man.
Okay, come to the mic, man.
It's hard.
Tell us about it, especially everything you doing, man.
Oh, man, it's hard, man. Oh, God. I grew up, really believing that it didn't matter what people thought, I'm going to do me. It didn't matter what people thought. And that was a survival. I'm so glad I believed that. If I didn't believe that, ain't no telling where I'd be right now. Everybody was selling crack and making real money when I grew up. Making real money. They wasn't bums out there, man. They was making thousands of dollars in a day.
Right.
They was in a sideshow and wrecking the car and then getting it fixed and coming back to the sideshow or coming back with another one.
Right.
So I'm glad that I grew up, thinking it don't matter what everybody think. But then when I went into law enforcement, man, and I feel like I'm going into it for this golden reason, right? It's lightweight, idealistic people. Wasn't we just all on the same page last year?
Yes.
We was nodding our heads in agreement, right? So just going in there and then feeling that energy, it was hard to not take that personal.
Yeah.
It was hard to not take that personal. These cats that I know, I'm going to tell you something else is hard to not take personal. When I'm on a panel or something, or I'm talking to people and I'm out there and I know all these cats from the arts community and the political community and the street. I know these dudes, and I'm out there and I'm speaking and they going hard, lightweight, coming at me sideways a little bit, but not directly. And then as soon as the lights and the cameras shut off and the press leave, man, Pipe, really appreciate what you out there doing, man. We need you out there.
You like what? And a little more dialogue on that too. Sit on the panel. Tell a little bit about what your position. You're not on the streets.
I'm not
chasing
out there
crack
no more.
dealers.
I was able to chisel out my own lane, and it had a lot to do with the play, because the play was the first piece of art that I created. Even though the music was real and it was all over the world, it wasn't talking to my homie that was selling crack.
Right.
And the music wasn't. It wasn't talking to the mayor and the city planner either. They wasn't listening to it either.
Right.
This was the first piece of art that I created where you could literally look out and see a cat that just got out the pen, and an activist and teachers and cops, whole administrations was coming, chiefs of police and stuff.
Right.
I performed the play in the jail.
Yeah.
So this was the first piece of art that I created that really addressed the demographic that it was written for, and I'm proud of that. So through that, I've been able to branch out and then, go and be on different panels and go around the country and perform at different universities and in theaters. I wrote a film version for it, and I got into Sundance. So we're going to get that
Yeah,
movie done.
Yeah, for sure.
Congratulations,
Congratulations, man.
Right on, man. We're going to get that movie done this year.
Yeah,
And
you off the hook, man. You know, and
hammering.
let me chime in real quick though about that play, because that play has a ton of emotionally charged situations in it. And I'm gonna try my best, from just being a fan, a friend, and being in the audience. When I see the play, the play is basically, talking about a brother out of West Oakland and a cop out of West Oakland, right? Took separate paths. They meet again in a dark alley, and what the audience discovers along the way, that there is a common thread.
Wait a minute, is the play still playing? Like,
I just ended the run at December.
Well, I definitely won't be able to give up the whole story, but it's important, I think, to understand what Pipe has done here. Right, you know what I mean?
No doubt.
I mean, for Pipe to be out of West Oakland, to be in the music business, to be in the streets, to be connected to a lot of people in the streets, to work at the probation department at Juvenile Hall, to go on a world tour, to come back, put this play together, and play 17 characters.
Yes.
And when I say play, this is what I was going to. Yeah, this is what I was going to get to. So when my man say come to the play, just like you talked about, right? When you're partner somebody you with, if they ask you to come through, it's like, all right, I don't even know what the play is about. You just say come through, I'm coming through. Man, when that boy came out and yes. Oh my goodness, the beginning, the tribal piece, you know what I'm saying? Oh my goodness, like I was like, oh shit, this boy can really act. And I was like captivated the whole time. And what I was saying about the story is that, they cross paths, the dude out of West Oakland and the cop, in a very way that can happen very easily, because, just like, you work in law enforcement, right? Okay, you might be out the way, but your family and your ties may not be out the way. So the cop's niece is still in the trap, right? She's still in the mix, and she gets, she run across a pimp, right, who run her. And then she wound up being dead. So everybody don't know this, but the cop knows this, and he knows who's responsible for it. So he catch him in a dark alley, and then everything unfolds from there. I mean, probably if you want to illuminate a little bit more, but the thing was so emotionally charged, but was so dope about it. It's not just that part about it. Then this boy highlights the spectators, right? Which is the news person
he's got like
who
this
tells
Rush
the story
Limbaugh
from
type character.
Yeah, from their very, the minister preacher, the Muslim preacher, the right wing, left wing. I mean, it's just, the dude's in jail who's watching all these things unfold. So he's able to articulate all these different perspectives about this one particular situation, that it's just something that you just don't want to miss. So
you don't want to be.
Did you write a play for Made You Look?
You catch him at the right. He definitely can. Does he have time? I don't know, but he definitely, he bring that thing to life.
Let me tell you, we both thinking about business. She's thinking about her book. I'm thinking about DB need to be my manager. Publicist. I ain't never heard the play communicated like that.
But no,
you should have wrote the overview for that.
Right.
That's how I took it in.
Let me tell you something, like how it affected me, like, because when you go see this play, or if you go see this play, or any of Pipe's work, really, like, it's going to trigger emotions within you that you don't even realize that you have. And I'm not just saying this because I know, like, he's going to trigger some emotions, and it's going to trigger thought. Like, it's going to make you really start thinking. Like, I see the police differently because of you and because of that play. And let me tell you this, like, not only did he walk the Pussycat Dolls and the Black Eyed Peas in my car, right? But this man was on tour with Snoop Dogg and The Game, right? And then he's a county sheriff, but he paid to go through the academy himself. Like, he didn't apply.
Straight out of West Oakland.
They said, we want you, right? And so when you know
and dominated the academy. Don't forget that part. Went out there and dominated.
And so, like, when you know his story, and then you go see his art and you go see his work, it's going to trigger something in you that you've never felt before, and really it's going to trigger thought. And I think that's what we're missing in America, because thought makes you research, and research makes you read, and you know what I'm saying. And through research and thought, you learn history. And I think that those are the things that we're trying to trigger here from our platform.
Yeah, for sure.
And your story and where you came from and what you've been through, and you kept it real. You're a spoiled little girl. Like there's no reason for you to
Horribly.
go rob banks.
The worst.
Yeah, there was no reason for you to go rob it. Like
all
it's
my
not the
mother's
story that my
fault.
mom was poor. I was trying to keep the lights on.
Right,
Like
right.
no,
Right.
No struggles.
I had it all. I just want a little bit
Seriously.
more.
That's
Like,
real. Thank you for keeping it real.
Yeah, that's
like,
that's interesting, and being transparent, right? Because as Black folks, man, we real prideful people, right? So we don't necessarily like to share and be vulnerable. You know what I mean? You want to tap in?
Yeah, one of the main reasons why I do share is because of who I am.
Yeah.
And I know this book was going to travel the globe. It hasn't yet, but I'm claiming
Oh,
it.
we're sending it right now.
And I just didn't want no one to come back and say, "Oh, she was in prison and she did." No, I'm putting it out there. Plus, I really want to be a motivational speaker to these young women. Like, you do not have to take the path I took to
Right.
be successful. I was successful before I took that path.
Which is something we never hear. I mean I mean, how powerful is that? To already be where we think we need to go, right? But then you kind of revert back and then I mean, not no petty, you know what I'm saying, but I can't get over it. Like, this girl kicking it doors and laying everybody down. Like,
hey, you got a verse in one of your songs was like, man, something about like, man, I'm out here to grinding to feed my kids. And you was like, man, your kids can't eat no $100,000 Benz.
oh
Like,
yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Now I'm out here for my kids. It's like your kids can't eat that Benz, man.
Right.
That 70,000, 80,000 you spent on that Benz could have went to food if that was your primary focus, man. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Right, investing, and so I want to, start to as we started to sin on this session, really. When we talk about the skill set, not taking things personal, right? It's really walking around one of the many EI strategies that we share here on the I Never Worry podcast. Is about being able to always be in control of your emotions, right? When people ask us, what is emotional intelligence? It's the ability to always be in tune with how you feeling in the moment. But most importantly, to be able to skillfully respond, right, to other people's emotions. Because it happens to us every single day, right? Customer service, people cutting us off, long lines. There's a lot of things that invoke, our emotions. And having a high level of emotional intelligence keeps you in that space. And understanding if you don't take anything personal, it's like a neutralizer. So you don't. That's why I asked you, Tasha, about like what was the deal? Like when you take something personal, how did you feel? And then when you recognize that I'm not taking it personal, how do you feel? Because there's a serious charge there. The minute you feel like somebody has done something to you, and we get to roaring like beast. You know what I'm saying, when that happened. And then the other part of it I want to illuminate for those who've been listening and catching everything that's happening, how everybody at the table has faced and overcome adversity. Right? We've transcended out of our situations in one way or another and took some bold steps. Me going to the probation department and being a peace officer after all the dirt I did in the city of Oakland and Brookfield, right? And take allegedly, right? And take that path, same for Pipe and same for you. And you grew up in the city.
Yes.
Yeah. So over in the city, and so to do everything that we're doing and then come out and talk about how, we had to feel about where we were going to get where we are now. And so that's what makes, I think, this whole powerful, this platform, emotional intelligence, very, very powerful. And so we got a couple more things I want to get out of you guys before we go ahead and move on. And if you think of, you have like a quick, short, I'm going to come back to you, Tasha, a short story, right, about something that just made you emotionally charged. You gave us a little bit about the lack of support, but anything other recently, like you could think about that kind of just rubbed you the wrong way, or you watched somebody do something and you was like, ooh, they kind of took that out of character?
Absolutely. I have a grandmother who's 87 years old with Alzheimer's. And so when I first got released from prison, I took care of her. And I have a grown son, and he had just had his first kid. So I was making sure he was okay to be able to take care of his family. So I didn't get any money from my grandmother. It's my grandmother. You shouldn't get paid to do it anyway.
Right.
But since they paid, I gave the check to my son. So my grandmother's children, which she has 5 grown children, I mean, they checked in on her occasionally, but it's been 10 years now. So just recently, my aunt takes power of attorney over my grandmother. And she's like, I need the money. And I'm like, look, this is absurd. Like, this is your mother. Where have you been all this time? I don't know why you feel the need. Like, she's very well taken care of. I mean, my grandmother is the most best dressed Alzheimer's lady you can see. No, like, and it's not about dressing her.
Your whole family
but
spoiled over there. Y'all spoiled from top to bottom over there.
And she real classy, a real
Right,
classy
right,
lady.
nice.
Still even in her illness. But the thing that happened is like I had to exit the situation. I had to turn it over to my family because
Right.
I was just so outdone.
Right.
Like they took for granted everything I've ever done.
Right.
Anything that I tried to accomplish with my grandmother, like the help I was doing, taking her to and from the doctors, bathing her feet, all that went out the window when money got involved.
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm just like, but that's another thing I had to tell myself, Tasha, it's not really about you.
Right.
You cannot take that personal. And then I'm like, woohoo, let our kids do it now. I can have a break,
So how you feel? How did you feel about this situation when it was happening?
It broke my heart. It still does to think about it. I'm so glad I'm not getting emotional right now. It bothers me a lot, like just to diminish anything that I've ever done,
Right.
just like it never happened. Like she takes the credit for everything. But then I'm just like, you know what? I have other things I'm trying to do in my life that I
Right.
need to accomplish. I can't worry about that.
For sure.
I'm not about to let that hold me back. I'm not about to let that distract me, But yeah, it does bother you. Sometimes your emotions get the best of you.
Yes,
And in that
indeed.
situation, it did. But as of today, I'm a lot stronger. I'm just like, you know what, Tasha? Focus on what you got to get done.
Right.
You have big things you're trying to accomplish, and you need to do that. You can't let nothing hold you hostage.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm at with it today. But yeah, sometimes you have to really let stuff go, like completely wipe
Yep.
your hands from
Yeah.
it
Disconnect.
Absolutely.
at all.
Thanks for sharing. What about you, Pipe?
Man, I got a lot of stuff.
Just give us a quick one. Give us a short
I was
one.
over here just trying to figure out what I should tell and what shouldn't be said. I'll just say that I made a lot of progress this past year with the Sundance stuff and lining up this movie and a lot of music that I've been working on. And, there have been degrees of support along the way. And this touches on everything that we've been talking about today. There have been degrees of support from different individuals along the way. Some people that I weren't there as much as I felt they should have been, and those same individuals are like there now, kind of in ways that if I was operating from a less mature level of understanding, I would feel they're not supposed to be there right now.
Right. Right.
So just basically getting over myself and not taking it personal and realizing that there have been plenty of times when I wasn't there for people.
Right.
Because I had
Perspective.
things going on, I
Right.
had things going on, or mindset is everything, man. Everything stems from the mindset.
Yeah.
So if I wake up and I feel like I'm on a particular path and somebody needs support, a certain type of support from me, but I'm not that person right now, I can't help them.
Right.
So I'm speaking in generalizations because I don't want to,
You don't want to say their name?
Yeah, and it's not a particular.
Focus.
It's not just one name.
Calling.
It's not just one name. This is kind of me recognizing to all those individuals.
You
in
can
my
say all
life.
their names.
Just putting it out there to all those individuals in my life, man. I'm not taking it personal.
Yeah, for sure.
And,
That's right.
If you ever been rocking with me, and you still rocking with me, period. And to whatever degree it is.
Yeah, and I feel like that too. I mean, we're all on this journey. When I'm, making my moves, it's like I feel like I have to work too hard for the people around me to understand what I'm doing. I put on, if you put on an event, like it takes forever for people to sign on, and people want to double check their schedule. And what date is it again? Let me see. And you think that people will be more committed to what it's doing because on a couple of layers out there, like, oh, you're doing a great job and you doing this for the community, but I'm trying to bring it to the community. there's not as much support as one would think, right? And so it's always a struggle, it seems like, with those around us. And again, I think it has a lot to do with how people kind of view themselves, where they think they should be. A lot of times people start thinking where they think you should be or how you should be doing. So there's a lot of things that, a lot of feelings, a lot of emotion that play a part in that. But at the end of the day, we just got to keep doing what is purposeful for us, and then reminding ourselves that, what you're doing is for a reason. It's like we got to remember, what we started. And I always think about this one quote I heard, one of these movies that talk about who cries for the little boy that cries inside of me. Right, because as leaders, right, we're always on the move, and we always, everything that we all do, it's all for somebody else, right? We're providing service, trying to, educate other people, but then how often do people kind of check on us? You know what I mean? So it's an interesting dynamic. But this is gonna, lead us to the final thought of the day. The I Never Worry podcast, we like to drop a skill set. We like to have real conversations with everyday people about everyday situations, and how emotional intelligence plays a part in it. And the final thought of the day for you guys to take with you is to always remember this, that you are always responsible for how you act, no matter how bad you feel, right? So we got to keep that in mind, because sometimes when we have a bad attitude or things not going right for us, we're not the best version of ourselves. And that's just something that we want to keep in mind. And so we're going to go ahead and start to end with that. I want to thank you guys again for taking the time out this afternoon to share, those good experiences, and to give our audience an opportunity to hear different perspectives on how people are managing their emotions through a lot of complex situations and through some simple ones. So thank you guys again. I got my man Piper, Jinho, Ferreira. He got the Cops and Robbers play. That's what I want you to remember more than anything else we talked about, that he's an artist. You could be looking for a movie coming soon, and you're going to see a whole body of work from this guy, because we got this inside joke between him and I, is that we're after that 100 million. So we got a lot of things going on. And Miss Latashia Holmes would have made you look. Man, girl, you are something else. I swear. You're a powerful sister, and I commend you. Salute, hands off, hands down, right? Just being a bad sister, and deciding to share your life and your experiences with us, and with the hopes, right, that other people don't take the same path, or if they've done some things, they understand they don't got to stay there. It's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Yeah, and Pipe, how can we get a hold of you? Like, how can they get a hold of you, learn more about your plays and what it is that you're doing, and then...
they could go to Facebook, flipside.com. That's FLIPSYDE.com. Or you can go to Jinho Ferreira at Facebook.com. That's my name, JINHO FERREIRA. At Facebook, man. Go to the Facebooks. We're about to ramp it up in the next couple months and just, offer a landslide of music and like a short film, and just start building on the way to getting this movie out and taking it to the next level, and, just keep hammering, keep smashing.
Good stuff. And how can we get to you, sister?
Same thing. I'm on Facebook. It's Latashia Holmes, LATASHIA, and also I am on Instagram. Also Latashia Holmes, LATASHIA Holmes. I also have a new book coming out. I'm collaborating with...
Congratulations.
This is breaking news. We
You heard it here first.
Right. I'm collaborating with the 7-time best-selling author Shannon Holmes, who wrote Be More Careful. We're in a collaboration of a new book coming out, and it's called Provoked. So that should be out hopefully before summer. So I'm busy doing that. And if anyone is interested in even submitting work, it's a lot of women and men also who want to be authors, self-published authors. They can reach me at my publishing company. It's So Inspired Publishing Company.com. And they can email me also at soinspiredpublishingcompany@mail.com.
All right.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks again. So this is the I Never Worry podcast, where we're discussing emotional intelligence with everyday people and everyday situations. We're out.